Quite some time ago, I had posted this video breaking down Disney's Peter Pan and Wendy trailer and just how amazing it looked. Well, time has passed, and their newest live action remake has finally hit Disney Plus. Is it as bad as everyone thought it was going to be? Find out next. How's it going, fellow cinephiles? This is Dominic from Overload, the channel where we talk about movies, pop culture, and everything in between. And today, oh boy, today we are talking about Disney's newest live-action remake, Peter Pan and Wendy, which just recently went on to Disney Plus instead of theaters because they did not want to be the laughingstock of the box office. And once again, I do a full breakdown of the trailer that Disney gave us in this video right here. The video that you are watching right now will be just my general reactions and thoughts of this movie. But if you want the full breakdown of everything that I found personally wrong about the trailer, please click here and you can go back and watch my detailed thoughts of the trailer, which will then translate into this movie review. So let's just get into it. First off, let me just say I am a very big fan of the original Peter Pan film from the 50s, and growing up with that movie and a bunch of other Disney movies as a kid. Going into this movie, I was pretty skeptical on what Disney would do with this beloved story, and oh boy, were those feelings right. This movie is a disaster. I mean, a walking disaster. You thought the trailer was bad for this movie? The movie is 2 times worse, and I'll get into a little bit of that in a little bit, but just the overall reaction of this movie is it's just awful. It's soulless, it is lifeless. Everything in this movie is done on purpose, it's done for a reason, and people just have had enough of it. People have just had enough of this pandering. I don't know if that's the right word. This messaging. I don't know if that's the right word either. But I think people are just done with the idea of being preached to. And this movie is somewhat kind of preachy in that sense. It's one of those movies that feels very modern Hollywood. And I think people have just rejected that notion. And people just want to go back to be told stories instead of being told a message. And Disney, over the last few years now, have been really into the message telling instead of telling good, strong stories. And this movie is no exception. Now, I was personally pretty surprised when they took out the main morale, the main messaging from the original Peter Pan, a story about a girl who really is kind of on the cusp of growing up, and she wants to kind of keep that childlike innocence, and this movie completely takes that concept and modernizes it, and I mean really modernizes it. There is a few scenes that I just had to kind of shake my head at because it just didn't match up at all to the movie that we've all grown to know and love at all. And you know, just the characters and the way they carried themselves, especially Wendy, which I will get into in a moment. I don't know, Peter Pan himself just seemed incredibly lifeless, and it wasn't the kid that played the character, it was just the way that Peter was written as a character. It just didn't work. The Lost Boys were, or I don't know if you even want to call them the Lost Boys anymore, because they're not all boys. The just the way that this movie was handled, and the way that they handled such a cherished movie throughout the decades, is just really disheartening. Okay, moving on to Wendy, or how I like to call her, Wendy Skywalker. Yes, shout outs to all my Star Wars fans out there. Happy May the 4th. I know it's a big thing in pop culture today, celebrating May the 4th and just celebrating Star Wars as a franchise. But Wendy really reminded me of a modern Star Wars character. She had absolutely no flaws. She denounces everything that she's growing up into. She doesn't want to mother the Lost Boys, which is one of the crucial things in the original movie that really made the movie have a lot of heart. She almost disavows motherhood. In fact, there's even a scene in this movie where she even tells one of the Lost Boys that she doesn't even know if she wants to even be a mother, which is so modern. It's so modern. It's just so like there's nothing wrong with being a mother. There's nothing wrong with motherly figures or like nurturing figures. That was the main thing about Wendy in the original movie, and they just took that concept of Wendy, that character trait of Wendy, and they just threw it out the window for the sake of her being a girl boss, so to speak. She is flying everywhere. She is sword fighting everyone. She's manhandling men 2 times her size. Does it sound familiar? There's just so much that they just did to Wendy that just completely goes against her original character and the reason behind her character. And it's just, again, just super disheartening to see that Disney just does not care about their own characters. And it's just sad to see all these great characters and stories just being absolutely destroyed for the sake of modernism. I will say, however, the one bright spot in this movie, I thought, was Jude Law playing Captain Hook. He looked like Captain Hook. I thought he did a relatively decent job for what he was given. But again, that one bright spot does not hold a candle to all of the stupid, disgusting, modern pandering in this movie. No one wants to watch movies anymore with this kind of messaging. Just give us a story and a character that we can latch onto. Modern audiences are getting really sick of what Hollywood is producing over the last couple years. Heck, why do you think Top Gun Maverick last year lasted so long in theaters? It wasn't because it was a great movie, but that is one of the reasons why it lasted so long. It was because there was nothing coming out that people were interested in. And movies like Peter Pan and Wendy clearly show that people are just tired of this kind of storytelling. Just go back to the way stories were told before, and people will flock to the theater. It is not that hard to do. All right, I've gone on way too long in this video. I really don't want to talk about this movie anymore. This stunning and brave masterpiece that people are saying it is. I really don't want to talk about this movie anymore. So my final thoughts are: this movie is lifeless. It is soulless. There's nothing to latch onto. There is absolutely nothing really enjoyable about this movie. And again, another soulless Disney remake that we as fans never asked for. So if you liked what you see, be sure to hit the like button and hit the subscribe button as well, and turn on the post notifications so that you guys can get notified every single time I post a video. You can follow me on Letterboxd, which is right here. I post all of my movie reviews on Letterboxd as it helps me keep track of movies that I have watched, movies that I haven't watched, and movies that I will watch. And I think you guys would benefit greatly from this app and this website if you are indeed lovers of cinema like myself. As always, guys, happy movie watching. Take care.